Waiting for it basically to come live onto YouTube. Takes about a minute. Waiting for it basically to come live onto YouTube. Takes about a minute. Welcome everybody. This is From the Verse number 9. We will be talking about role-playing and its place in an MMO like Star Citizen. And today we've got two different co-hosts today. We've got Whole Armor and we also have Irish Dawn. So we'll introduce them in just a minute, but I want to let you know that the focus of this show is going to be role-playing and how it can be used in and out of any MMO as well as in Star Citizen, our take on it, things like that. And welcome to our show. No matter how many people we get, we always can use more, so please tell your friends, share these videos with your buddies, let them know. We'd love to have them come in and comment and tell us how we're doing. All right, so now let's go ahead and get started on this. So, Whole Armor, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell people who you are and like what you're doing here and anything else you want to talk about yourself.
Yep, I am Whole Armor. I'm the major from the 1st Royal Aerospace Squadron in the fighter group. I am a Star Citizen. I am pretty much a diehard gamer. I am a retired veteran of the 1st Infantry Division. Served 4.5 years in the infantry. Traveled to 7 different countries. Did some combat in Iraq, and I am here, alive and well, on this show with all you great folks.
All right, good deal. And Irish, what about you? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Irish Dawn. I spent 17 years in the military, 12 with the Navy, 5 with the Army. I got, pretty good video game background, and I've done a lot of role playing with Dungeons and Dragons and some BattleTech and Mech Warrior and stuff like that. But all in all, I've been waiting for a game like this for a long time, so I'm hoping that the role-playing aspect can be a great part.
Okay, good. Well, that's awesome. Just to give you guys a little background on myself, I served in the Army for a while. I was in 8 years, and so got a little bit of ground experience. Never served on any kind of like naval vessel, or I never served in space, or never flew a fighter or anything like that. But I've role played a fighter pilot. Okay. And that's what we're going to be talking about. It's just role playing and things like that in today's show. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and ask you all, what are you doing to get ready for Star Citizen? Like, what are you doing in the real world to get yourself ready for the
Well, Multiplayer, Arena Commander, baby, yes sir. Playing a lot of that. Trying to
Okay.
get those button configurations down pat, getting that timing ready. You know, trying to figure out which computer components is gonna be substantial for this gameplay. Of Star Citizen. But that's pretty much it. What I'm doing, and just trying to get my practice going.
Okay. Yep. That's always good. What about you, Irish? What are you doing to get ready for Star Citizen?
Well, I'm staying involved with the websites and stuff like that, keeping up with the verse. I'm doing the same thing as Whole Armor. I'm getting on to the dogfighting module every day and practicing against real live opponents, and it's outstanding. Whole Armor took me to flight school today, taught me a little bit about stopping my aircraft and doing the pivoting that I'm seeing a lot of the guys doing now. But I've also submitted, my art, my role playing aspect to the game, so that way it kind of sets my character up for the future of the persistent universe. So these are things that I'm trying to make to where when we start our story, this is where I'm going to fit in, and people can look back and say, "Hey, where did this guy Irish Dawn come from?" And they can look back to our websites and say, "Oh, he's got a whole story," so they can kind of read up on me.
Exactly, and that kind of leads into the what the show's all about, really. So, but let me tell you what I'm doing. Unfortunately, I'm not playing as much Arena Commander as I should. I play probably only about once a day. I just got accepted into the multiplayer just a couple of days ago, and I did not have a good experience when I jumped into the multiplayer. I felt I wasn't prepared for the craziness that was going to happen. I was constantly being charged and rammed by my opponents, and it felt like it was all done deliberately. So I don't know. It was like I just don't understand because I'm flying around minding my own business, just trying to blow up everybody, and they felt like it was their sole purpose was to charge me and ram me and blow me up. So it might have been that I brought that upon myself. I don't know. So when I go into my next multiplayer experience, I'm going to be prepared for that, and I'm going to see if it is in fact them charging me or if it's me just flying like a lunatic and crashing into them. So, but usually I'm going to say every time that I clipped anybody, both of us blew up. So it wasn't one-sided. It wasn't like they could ram me with their Hornet and then all of a sudden my ship blew up and theirs didn't. So it wasn't an advantage for one side or the other to ram or be rammed. So that's good. I like that. The fact that if you're going to ram somebody, you're going to pay the penalty. But I didn't like getting rammed. Okay, but having said that, I'm actually
Neither did I.
I'm actually doing a couple of things outside of the Star Citizen universe right now. I'm actually kind of preparing for the imminent release of Robotech Tactics, Robotech RPG Tactics. And when that comes out, I'm going to be spending a lot of time painting miniatures and getting ready for that miniature game. So that's kind of what I am doing right now. I am still keeping my heart into Star Citizen, but I understand that can wait, because it's going to be months and months and months down the line before we start really getting to do anything with Star Citizen. So I'll just practice once a day, but the rest of my time is pretty much building models and terrain and stuff like that for Robotech RPG Tactics. But I did upgrade my computer with the GTX 770. I got rid of the 660 and added the 770, and I've noticed a considerable difference. It almost doubled my FPS.
Significantly, because I saw that YouTube video that you put up. That was a great difference.
Yeah.
Especially it was doing the GTX 770 was doing the work alone as opposed to the two graphics cards that you had in there.
That's right. Yeah, I had the 660 and a 250 and they were doing okay. But when I put that 770 in, it kind of
Night
blew
day
those.
difference.
Yeah, I wanted to do the 770 with the 660 as a backup, but when I plugged them both in, my computer said I didn't have enough resources to run both video cards at the same time. So I was like, balls. So I just pulled the 660 out and ran it with the 770, and it seems like I don't even need the 660. So
No,
That's
it's
good.
holding its own real well.
all right, now let's change topics just a little bit. Let's go to what's going on in the current events in Star Citizen. There's a couple of things that happened this week, and one of them is we hit $49 million dollars for RSI, and I was just, like, what did you guys think about hitting 49 million?
I remember, matter of fact, I watched your YouTube video
Okay.
last night on what is Star Citizen.
Oh, that's an older one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I watched that last night, and you was talking about the stretch goals, and back then it was just at 20 million,
Right.
and you went down the list. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I bet you Mr. E didn't even think that it was gonna reach 49 million.
No.
It was 50 million the
Yeah.
time he made that video. So when you look back at that, and then you watch somebody's video when they talking about 49 or 50 million, that's what a year's time, right? Less than a year's time.
Yeah, about a year. Less than a year. Yeah.
Less than a year, $49 million. So that goes to show that the backers and the subscribers are no longer, from my opinion, are no longer looked at backers and subscribers. I look at them as an investment team, investors. We're investing to keep the production of this particular title up and running.
Right.
And,
Right.
and yeah, because
And that's the way I looked at it from the very beginning. Was I'm not buying a game, I'm helping them make a game that I want to play.
right.
Right. And I think a lot of people lose that. I think a lot of people think they're buying a starship, and I would never pay $100 or $200 or whatever it is for a starship computer game,
Right.
asset.
It's a binary code.
See,
It's a binary code.
I look at it a little different than that. I mean, yeah, it does cost a little bit to get the kind of ship that you want and stuff like that, and you are investing into a game. But you look at these guys that are playing Xbox or PlayStation, and they go out and buy a $60 game, and then 2 months down the road, there's another game that comes out. Well, there's another $60. Well, people do that with the consoles already, and for people to be invested into something that's going to be even more vast than what a console can produce is phenomenal. So that's why people are really behind it.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's a different business model.
Exactly.
See, in game consoles and I'll keep this short, but publishing and independent game developing, like such as Chris Robertson, Cloud Imperium, they have a different business model where instead of Chris Roberts, like he said, going out to try to find said investors, he allowed his gamers or the people that's gonna purchase his game invest in his title. It's just that you make the investment, but as a gift in return, you get a ship. So
Right.
that's how it plays out, as opposed to like the publishers. You invest in a console, you invest in a game, and then that's it. They get their money.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, there's going to be microtransactions. Star Citizen's still going to have things that you can pay money for, but it's going to be a lot less groundbreaking, or it's going to be a lot less game breaking than some of these other pay to win games. Where you're paying and buying this mega gun that will blow up the planet, and you have to pay dollars for that. Where Star Citizen's going to say you can pay dollars for that, but you can also earn it in the game. You don't have to just pay dollars. So I think that's a big deal. And it's probably not, he's probably not even going to be doing that, because he said something about you can pay like up to $15 and get like 15,000 UEC and a month. And so you have, so that just makes it easier for you to play a shorter amount of time and still be able to keep up with people. So that allows for the casual gamer, which I'm actually going to talk about later in the show. But okay, so we got past the 49 million. And what about the M50 that just came out? I know there's a couple of people in the unit, like Zachpod. He has an M50 in his hangar. He said it just looks like a racing machine. He loves it. So what do you guys think about it?
I think basically that's what it is. He made the M50 to be a racer, and
yeah.
And when you saw the color schemes on the site, you automatically knew he was going to go with red, because red means fast. So I thought it was just neat, and I for the people that want to do racing, more power to them. But that's not my forte. But I think it's actually a nice, sleek looking ship.
If anybody in the unit. Now, what I try to do is avoid unit talk from the verse, because this is about everybody's experience and not just our unit. But I do want to say this. If there are people in the unit that want to pursue a racing career, I'll back them up and I'll support that, because that's just cool. We'll put our little sticker on their side, STP, or whatever, on the side of their jet, So that'll be super cool. I don't mind doing that, Will I participate in racing? I probably won't get past pre-qualification, so who knows. Okay, let's go on. The next thing was the updated web store. I don't know if you had a chance to kind of peruse it, because you probably already have your own ships. But I thought I'd want to go back in and just take a look at it, and it's pretty cool. You can actually look at the ships, not in a very detailed manner, but you can actually walk around in the ships, or look at the outside and get a better feel of what the ships look like without ever having to buy it. Because in the past, you had to buy the ship, see it in your hangar, walk around inside of it at that point. Where now you don't have to do that. You can view the ship. It's only like a green, shell, but it still gives you that feel, and I like that. And it kind of tells you where all the hard points are and what can be in each of the hard points. And it's a lot more detailed store, and I think that's just the next step. They're going to keep expanding that and make it better. So I'm glad to see that. What'd you guys so I know Whole Armor, you were nodding yes that you've already seen it. So what do you think about it?
Well, they developed this for the newcomers that back the game. And at first, like I said, when I was watching your YouTube video and you had went into this website, it wasn't as intuitive as it is now, right. As far as user friendly. And I had a complaint about it before they made this update, how they had the categories. When you went to go purchase a single ship, you had Origin, you had RSI and Anvil, and all of the ships was on the side. I was like, well, why would they do that when if you just categorize them by make and model, it'll be a whole lot easier, where they can just go into Origin and then they can see all the Origin ships under that make. But now this is exactly what they did. And to be able to go to pick a ship and see all of its makings and all of the things that they come with is a whole lot easier and intuitive for the newer comer. It was really ingenious for them to do that. Some people may like it, some people don't, but I like it.
Right. And what about you, Irish?
I think it looks a lot better, and it's actually more manageable if you look at it. I mean, before it's like you had to sit there and click on each individual one just to get a view, and now it's kind of like it's more open. So I enjoy it. It's nice.
Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is multiplayer was expanded from 300 to 350,000, and that was good because my backer number is 320,000. So it opened up the multiplayer for me, and so I was able to actually get into multiplayer. That happened this week, and I thought that was pretty cool. I know there's people out there with 400 plus backer numbers, and so 400,000. So their time's coming. It's coming soon. So Irish, are you in the multiplayer?
Yes, sir, I am. And
Okay,
I'm
so we're all in
loving
the
it.
multiplayer. Okay, I'm just waiting for the ability to team up with friends or people in the org to be able to drop together, maybe in free flight or even only free flight. That'd be fine. At least we can work on some strategies and tactics, and then maybe go into the multiplayer matches as a team and have like coordinated attacks and stuff like that. Right now, we're pugging. We're just single guys running around trying to avoid collisions. Okay. That's what I was doing. Okay, I've got a topic that I want to talk about. Now, this is my personal gripe, and if anybody knows me, I have this series on YouTube. It's an old series that I haven't gone back to in a long time. It was called Grind My Gears, and it was specifically started when I had a bunch of gripes about when I played Airsoft. And so there was always something that just burned me up. Well, there's something that happened at the 49 million mark in Star Citizen that just grinds my gears. And I'm going to step up on my soapbox, and I'm going to talk about this just for a minute. And if you're part of this and I insult you, well, then good, because I mean to insult you about this. Because if you voted for what I'm about to talk to you about, then you're an idiot and you shouldn't have voted for that, and this is why. If you go to the 49 million, letter from the chairman, and he talks about what do you want next to be our priority for the web team, basically for the web team. What do you want their priority to be? There are some options on there, and one of them is they want a Galactopedia. Another one is they want a star chart, a map of the known universe. And over 50% of the votes are for this map, the map of the universe.
A map that we already have.
A map we already have. And I've got 2 versions of this map already.
Yep.
And I don't know why the community voted for this. First of all, we don't know what all the worlds are. They don't know what all the worlds are. The development.
Wait, Mr. E, you have to remember that 50% of these votes are newcomers, man.
Well, they're idiots. I don't care. If they're a newcomer and they don't understand the concept of the universe, they should just shut the hell up. What I'm trying to say is 50%. I bet you that's not true. I bet you that 50% of the votes are from people that are just stupid. Okay? They voted for something we already have. All you have to do is look for it. It's there. It's out there. You got a map of the universe. Go to my channel. I have a tutorial on how to use that.
Everybody do.
Right. And then, okay, I can forgive. No, I can't. I can't forgive them. They're stupid. Okay. Then there's the next level of stupid. There's the guys that have voted, like 24% have voted for, and I don't know the exact numbers. They voted for a Galactopedia.
29%.
Okay. How much?
29%.
Oh my gosh, that's even worse. Okay, so 29% of the idiots out there are no, I take that back. 29% of the 100% are idiots, as well as the 50 whatever percent. Okay, they voted for a Galactopedia. Okay, I'm whole. I'm all in for a Galactopedia. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have a Galactopedia.
Right. It's not
But I don't want a Galactopedia. I don't want a Galactopedia that's empty. Okay? It's like buying an encyclopedia and all the pages are blank.
Right.
I mean, it's like they don't know this information yet, guys. They are pre-alpha. They're working on ships, and they don't even have any of that information yet. They don't know what the name of the worst pirate's going to be. You know, they don't know what all the alien races are yet.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So don't even ask for that stupid shit. Whoop. Okay.
Get on down, Mr. E. Get on down, brother.
Okay,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Get off
But
your chest.
what they should have put in, or what I voted for, doesn't mean I was right, okay? I just know I didn't vote for those two stupid things.
Yeah.
I did vote for, please allow the organizations tools to be able to manage their members. Because our organization page, and then I thought about it too after the vote, and I looked at it and I was like, man, there's a low percentage, like 14% people asking for this. And I'm thinking to myself, is it only the org leaders that actually want this? Because that might be the case. You know, maybe I'm biased because I have an organization, right? Maybe I'm biased. And I thought about it and I was like, no, if you're a member of an org, you want to know your role in the org. You want to be put into your units and your squadrons and your, you know, and give them permissions to do this and that. And you want it to be on the website where you can see it, you can manage your org.
Yeah.
People voted for the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
The map. You already have it. And the Galactopedia. They already have it.
A YouTube video talking about that, how what you were saying that remember when the organization page was finally released for everybody to start organizing, and then you were saying that Fleet View and that other view thing that
the fleet and
they're still grayed out. They're still grayed out. And you said something to the effect that they were going to allow us to have that soon, and we were going to transition to that site and stop using or use the engine site at the same time, but transition. Now, I had voted truth.
Okay.
Truth. I had voted for A.
Not the Galactopedia.
No.
Okay.
I voted for division jobs and browsers.
Okay.
And
that's reasonable.
It's only 10% because that's part of the organization is the part that's what we want. That's what we want to play around with. It's like we don't want no Galactopedia. We don't want no damn space plant. Web scoreboards. What I want, add that stuff later. You know what I'm saying? Like screw that.
The web scoreboard. If the people voted for the web scoreboard, I would not have called them an idiot because maybe they're just extremely competitive and they want to know what their ranking is, and I could accept that. But people that voted for the map or the Galactopedia, they're just stupid.
But see, the web scoreboard is just as silly. It has 4%. And the reason why it's silly, because Chris Roberts said that once they have all the content, well, basically when they have everything in beta format, everything is going to get reset back to 0 anyway. So
That's right.
You know, it is hilarious to see how people think, but, you know, if you watch the last 10 for the chairman, why didn't they make it an option to like maybe add to your hangar? You know, give yourself a living quarters to your hangar and make it more open, you know, make those options. You know, why would you want to worry about a star map right now? Give your character something to run around in.
Because he can't put himself out there like that. You know what I'm saying? Some things, if you notice and you watch the Round the Verse show of 10 for the Chairman, you will notice that they do catch themselves from saying a lot of stuff. You'll hear them say, "Oh, I can't say that." You know what I mean?
Redacted.
So, exactly, because they can't put anything up there that's realistic or substantial or tangible. That's real, you know, as far as the development of real development of the game. You know what I mean? Just like maybe more environments or with these servers, so people can stop crashing into each other. You know what I mean? They don't want to put anything up there.
I would enjoy another map too, but you know, to fly around on. But you know,
that would have been a good vote.
That would have been a nice little topic.
Up there, that's realistic or substantial or tangible. That's real. As far
Yeah,
as
I agree with.
but to vote for a known universe map, 53%, that's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
like if you can Wikipedia the map.
Right, right,
Well,
right.
my thing is that the 350,000 people that are already in the game that are just now getting into the multiplayer already have the maps, already have the all that stuff. So I can't see why they would vote for that.
Right, right.
Man.
And that's another thing about that. I'm gonna close this real quick with that. Um, I'm surprised that we don't get a whole lot of votes. How many people are playing this game? Do we have 400,000 people? Do we have 1,000,000 people? How many people do we have? Why do we only have like 2,000 votes?
Well, the question is how many people actually visiting the site.
That's what I mean. Are they really excited about this game, or are they casual gamers? You know. So okay, that's it. Moving on off that topic, let's go. Let's get into the main meat of the subject tonight, and that's the philosophies of role playing and how it impacts a game like Star Citizen. Now, I'm going to lead off by saying, if you ask 10 people what an RPG is, you're going to get 10 different answers. Okay, I believe that an RPG is first a game, as per the G in RPG. And then secondly, it's where you can role play. So you role play
a role.
You play a role. What is role playing? Okay, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. What is role playing? It could be a lot of different things. Now, I have 5 points up here on the board that talk about role playing. We're going to talk about each one separately. We're going to try to be quick because, like I said, this is very subjective. It's personal opinion. There's no definite like this is the way role playing is always has to be done. No,
Right.
I did a little research about this over the last few days. Role playing has been around since before time,
man.
pretty much.
Long
Okay,
time,
you can role play, and then there was around the turn of the century, last century, in the 1700s, 1800s. In the 1800s, there was studies done on role playing, okay, and how you can role playing your like on theater, role playing, live action role playing, role playing in a doctor's office, psychiatrist or whatever. There's all kinds of that different role playing. Role playing games have come out pretty recently. Okay, it's like taking all that role playing energy and turning it into something that you can take home and play around the table with your buddies. Okay, but here we go. I'm going to talk about topic 1 to get us started. Okay, you hear this probably in every one of Chris Roberts' videos, probably in every one of the CIG videos. You probably read it on every forum thread. This one word is being used: immersion. Okay, now what that means is, well, Chris Roberts wants the game to be immersive, which means when you're in the game, you can identify with the avatar that you're moving around on the screen. You can have emotional connection to your character, so that when he does something, and I say character, I mean avatar, when your avatar does something, you feel like you've done that thing. Okay? That's why when you look down, you can see your own feet, because they want you to make you think that you are that avatar. They put you inside his body. So what Chris Roberts is actually doing is he's making the game easier for you to role play your character, because you are your avatar. What do you guys think about immersion and how that's going to affect you when you're playing the game? I'm going to start with you, Whole Armor. Put you on the spot.
Immersion.
Just immersion. Yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. Just immersion.
Now, that is a new terminology for me. Especially in the gaming world.
Okay.
And that goes like virtual machines, like virtual commu back in the
Yep.
80s where
Yep.
they had to, and you were inside the game.
Yep. That's
And
yep.
the movie Avatar, where the guy lay down in the table and voila, he's this big 7 foot tall blue man, you
Right.
know. And see that sort of idea is new in innovation, and it can be scary sometimes too. It's like, wow, I feel like I am in the game. I have a life, like a second life in this environment, and it allows me to implement my own personality into this gaming world in this virtual reality. And I think that's cool. I like that emergence. I really do. Yeah, it's all right. It's cool.
What about you, Irish?
I think, well, I kind of have a different view with the immersion. I mean, you look at immersion, and it's been in games ever since games have been out. Basically, you immerse yourself into a game, regardless of the coming with WoW and all those other games like Daggerfall and all the Elder Scrolls games and stuff like that that's come out. You immerse yourself into those characters to make them the best characters possible. But with this immersion and role playing, it's you trying to put your character in the persistent universe to making a name, making your stamp on the universe. You want to make yourself known throughout the universe, saying, "Hey, this guy did this." And when you look away from one of the NPCs and you're talking to this NPC on a job, and you look away, there's going to be cause and effect in that. That's what he was talking about. With this immersion. If your character's not keeping eye contact and staying in the conversation with the NPCs or what, then those NPCs take objection to that, and it affects how your character responds and is involved with that person.
Well, see, here's the thing, Irish. Immersion is not that the character or your avatar did it. You did it. See, that's what the immersion is.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to more of a first person. It's putting you in that spot instead of your character.
Mhm.
Right. I think that Chris Roberts is using immersion because he wants you to have the suspension of disbelief, where you, when your ship is getting attacked, you feel like you're actually being attacked and not just because there are games out there where you can play, you can be immersed in it. Like, I'm going to use Call of Duty as an example. When I have lives, or if I have a, let's even back up even further, Quake. Okay, I can be immersed into Quake and think, okay, this is cool. I'm jumping over the pit. I'm blasting the Strog or whatever. But when I take damage and I see my armor bar go down points, that's not immersive to me.
Right.
When I see my health, I have 100 health and I get shot, and now I have 75 health, that's not immersive, because my health shouldn't be a finite number like that, or first of all, I shouldn't know what that number is. If it is a finite number, I shouldn't have access to that. I should. Now I understand you've taken 25% damage, or 25% of your health is taken away. That's too finite? I should say you've been lightly wounded. Okay, I can accept that. That might be cool. Or I might see a blood splat somewhere. Okay, that's kind of cool. But I don't want to see a number. And I think Chris is doing just that. He's not giving us hard, fast numbers for our persons, our avatars. Our ships, sure, yeah, you could do that. They have a little damage display. It goes yellow, red. It doesn't say how many points you have left. It
Right.
just kind of shows you like a damaged state. It shows that you're missing a wing or something like that, which I like. I want it to be as realistic as possible, and that is very immersive to me. It's just okay. That moving on, because we only have a limited amount of time. We're going to go to in role playing. In role playing, where you're playing a character, which you're playing your avatar, you're moving it around. you've given it a story. Now, whether you've told anybody that story or written it down does not matter. You still have a story that you're telling through your actions and your interactions with the NPCs and other players. And that story is in your head. You know that you are doing something for a certain reason. They might not know that, right? Because you didn't tell anybody. Okay. So you do have a personality or a character or a story. It's just not necessarily written down or verbally spoken.
Right. You have a past.
You do have a past, even if you are the only one that know it. And if you want to write it down in your user profile or whatever, or your character biography or whatever it is, that's really up to you, right? But even so, you might not even have one. You might be vague. You might be like, well, okay, I'm ex-military, but I don't really I don't have a background. I don't really know. And that's okay. That just means maybe he's got amnesia. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is, in a lot of role-playing games that I've played in the past, different people play different ways. And sometimes when these multiple ways play at the same table, and I'm talking about tabletops now, when you play at the same tabletop, but they each play in a different style, then there can be conflicts. I mean, I've had conflicts over this stupid reason, stupid as reasons. Yeah. Okay, one of them is first person versus third person. Okay. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people will say, like, I open the door. Okay. And then, well, do you, or is it your character that's opening the door? You're not really there. Right. And then, another person will say, my character opens the door. And then that's breaking the immersion for that other person. He's going, wait a second. Wait, are you role playing your character, or are you the narrator of your character? You know, and then somebody would say, Ragnar opens the door. Well, yeah, there's people, I've known people that say, like, they go up and say, they talk about themselves in the third person. But to stay in character, you really should say I, right? I honestly believe that, because you're interacting with someone as if you were that person.
Right. You are that character.
You are that character.
You wrote down on paper.
Right. Think of role playing as an impromptu play on the stage.
Exactly.
When you go on the stage and you say, "Oh, by the way, my character opens the door." No, he doesn't. You just walk over there and open the door, right? Yeah. Or you say, "I," right? I want to drink water, not my character wants to drink water. Right. So the people in the audience, if they were watching this and you started talking about your character in the third person, they would think that your character was crazy.
Yeah.
Or literally talking about yourself in the third person. So how does that really apply to what I'm trying to say is, like, in a MMO like Star Citizen, when you're walking around and you have an interaction with another player, because I could really care less what your interaction is with an NPC, because they're not the ones involved in any kind of conversation, really. They just give out quests or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you walk up to a player and you're talking to that player, what do you say? Are you going to say, hey, do you want to team up? Or are you going to say, hey, how are you doing? What's your name? It's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like,
I understand exactly what you're trying to say.
Well, go ahead.
It's I played Dungeons and Dragons before. That's
right.
About as extensive I have gotten, but I do understand that conflict.
Yeah.
You do have a conflict of people who don't understand the difference between being their character and acting out their character, as opposed and reading their character off the paper and say, I'm Rock, open the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and then the question is whether or not people are going to want to stay in character, or you're going to have those gamers, especially in a game as such as Star Citizen, where people just want to play the game, and then you're going to have those who wants to play that role to their character to the T. And then you may come across a gamer that's just playing the game, and you walk up to them and say, excuse me, private, I'm major, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they was like, well, so? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then and then they just keep on regular conversation. But that doesn't, as for me, if I choose to play that role, have that type of role playing, that gaming style, that doesn't affect me with my character, because the emergence is the allowing of an individual to play Star Citizen and build up a image of that character on an individual basis. But if it's much funner if you have, this is why organizations is important. You have a group of guys that says, well, okay, this is how we want to play, so we interact amongst each other when we're together in this manner. But when we are alone in the persistent universe as individuals, you have to use some type of distinction, and um what's that word, discretion, whether or not you want to be in character in your avatar or not be, when you're around others who just don't care about the fact of playing a role.
Like one of my questions is that yeah, we got team speak and stuff like that, but are they going to have something to where we can actually go up and select that person that we want to talk to and role play with that person and actually have a voice comms with them, or is it going to be something to where everybody's going to have to be in a chat channel like we are now? But role playing in general, I've played tabletop for quite a few years, and when I'm at the table, I'm in character. And that's just the way it is. It's like the movie Role Models. If you catch that comedy, the movie Role Models.
Oh yeah.
That when they're in the area where they're LARPing, they're in character, and that's the way I perceive it, and that's the way I want to try to enjoy it. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me say this. That's actually brings us up to my third topic, which is the chats. Okay. In all MMOs that I've ever played, and I've played, if you want a laundry list, I can give you a laundry list of MMOs I've played. We'll start with Lord of the Rings Online. I've played a couple of weeks of World of Warcraft. I've played City of Heroes a lot, and then I've played Warhammer, and I've played DC Heroes.
I tried to play Warhammer.
And then Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm not even going to go on anymore. But I've played a lot of MMOs, and what I found on these MMOs are when you have TeamSpeak or any other kind of communication software like Ventrilo or Mumble or any of these other, what that does is it takes role playing out of the game. And you stop role playing, and now you've all of a sudden became a gamer with a character you're pushing in a game with a bunch of other gamers pushing a character in the game. And you're competitive, and you become basically you lose all touch with your avatar, and you all of a sudden become this you're out of the game now all of a sudden, because now you're communicating like we are with Skype. We're communicating outside of the game, and we're not acting out our characters. But when you take those very same people and you put them in a text chat, they now can think about what they're saying and how they're going to say it, and they will use codes. And this is almost in every single. Whoa, what's going on with my background? Okay, you will see this in almost every game when you see parentheses around whatever they say. That usually means they're saying something that only the player would know and not their character. Like, hey, did you see the football game last night? That would be an out of character, an OOC, an out of character comment, and they would put parentheses around it. Mm-hmm. Where if you were going to do an action, like let's say you're interacting with Joe Blow and you're just talking smack or whatever, and you say that you want to shake his hand, let's say, and they don't already have an emote for that, you would type in a star, and then you would type in a physical action like I offer my hand to be shaken or shaken or whatever. And then what that does is that star alerts the person reading the text that that's not something you said, it's something you're doing. It's a physical action. And then they might reply back with the same star, grasping your hands and shaking it or whatever. And I encounter this mostly in games that are very story driven, characters that you go to a tavern or whatever, and you have to interact with people, and it's fun to stand around drinking and talking about whatever and dancing and just shooting the breeze. But in games where you would just do nothing but fighting constantly and just going from mission to mission to mission, you don't see that. You see non-interactive type, everything is out of character pretty much, and I don't know which way Star Citizen's going to go. Everybody seems to be excited about the different roles and jobs that they can be performing and their backgrounds they can have and stuff like that. But are they really going to be playing a pirate? Are they really going to be a trucker? Or are they going to be a player pushing a truck around? That's really the topic of the subject. I don't know how it's going to be in Star Citizen. What do you guys think?
Well, you gotta like I said, the closest thing to like role playing as far as like Dungeons and Dragons, where there was a DM, some books, some paper and pen. That's the extent. And I've seen Renaissance. I've seen the Renaissance. They got a Renaissance fair right down the street from my house, and then they have the reenactments of the World War I and World War II and all of that. Some people just don't have that awareness of that. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a lot of people in this game that doesn't know anything about playing a role. They're going to be those people who's just going to push a character through the game. And then you have to remember that the concept of Star Citizen, EVE Online, and a lot of other MMOs and role-playing games, this is a concept that a lot of people ain't used to yet, being the fact that they came from the gaming console era coming into the PC gaming environment. So role-playing, a lot of people ain't gonna. I want to do it because I like it. I like to play that role, but there's gonna be a lot of people that's not gonna be up on that. They're just gonna play it like any other regular game. There's no different from Call of Duty or anything else.
I agree with you 100%. I think probably 80 to 90% of the people are going to be just pushing a character, and that's without a given. But this is where the role playing comes into effect. Is folks like us that want to role play, we're the ones that's going to make the significant difference in the universe, because we're the ones pushing the story and making a story, while everybody else is pushing their characters. We're actually trying to create story and trying to create background to make the universe grow. And I think that's where
be alive.
And I think that's where we have more of an opportunity in doing that and actually being recognized. And I think that's one thing that's going to bring certain organizations together, and it's going to look great.
I think it's going to be a challenge because we do have TeamSpeak, and I know we're talking about our organization here, but when we're in battle or we're in a heated environment, a fight or whatever, we're going to be. I'm afraid what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of out of character comments, a lot of out of character role playing. We're going to be non-immersive into the world. We're going to be talking about things we shouldn't be talking about or we have no knowledge about, and that's going to hurt us. And you can't just say, okay, we got to stop talking like this. We got to da da da.
No, you can't.
So what we probably could do is have a different channel for the people that like to do role play, and then another channel for guys that are just, that don't even want to bother with the role playing, because we can't force role playing on people, because some people don't enjoy it. Honestly, some people don't enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Some people don't even have the concept for it. You know what I mean?
True.
Some people just don't have that not to say that they're ignorant or less intelligent.
Let's
just
say they don't
get
have the skills.
concept,
They don't have the skills.
Right.
I don't have the typing skills. I know that.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying
Right.
if they had an open channel to where we can actually chat with that person when we make contact with them, then.
Oh, you will. There will be. You'll be able to. I mean, if it's like any other MMO, you just right click them and it'll say private message or personal chat or something like that, and it'll pop up on their screen that Irish requests that here's a chat from Irish or whatever. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that, because between people I don't know, and I'm going to be able to role play through chat, but I'm more worried about people that are on my comms. Okay, now there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about real quick. Mm-hmm. And this is the things that are out there that can break immersion. And we already talked about one of them, the TeamSpeak, is a possibility that people are going to be talking about, what they did at home with their wife, or their kids are screaming in the background or whatever. And that's going to break a little bit of immersion. Okay, because we're going to hear that noise. But grinding. Okay, if there is a mission that you have to go on to get a certain number of credits, and you have to get a certain number of credits, and you just grind from point A to point B, and you're constantly grinding this specific mission so that you can get a badge, or so that you can get notoriety, or you can get any kind of reward. It doesn't matter what the reward is. That's not realistic. It's not. A real person wouldn't do that. A real person would do the mission once.
Yeah.
And move on to a different mission.
A real person wouldn't go into a dark dungeon with a whole 1,000 different monsters, twice his size, 100,000 times over again.
Exactly.
It ain't
exactly. At the same time, but you gotta look at real life scenarios too. I mean, you work, you get paid by salary, you get paid hourly.
Going there the first time.
So, it's like real life though. If you get paid hourly or salary, it doesn't matter. You're working to be able to achieve certain goals and obtain certain things. And hopefully, nobody in their life say, "Oh, I want to be a forever fry cook at McDonald's." It's you want to try to achieve something, and you're always working for a goal. And there's always going to be that little bit of a grind in anything you do.
Okay, now the definition of grind is different for different people. But what I'm saying, I don't mean the grind, the good grind, which is that you go on 100 different missions to get that badge that says that you've gone on 100 different missions. That's different. What I'm talking about is you go on the same mission over and over and over to get that badge that says you've done that mission 100 times.
Right.
That's the grind I don't like.
And a hustle. You know what I mean? You have a hustle. Do you have a grind? Are you gonna grind or are you gonna hustle? There's a difference.
So now we're on the same page. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that would be mundane and redundant. Yeah, it would not work.
But there are a lot of MMOs that make you do it.
Yeah.
And
Diablo.
Some MMOs don't though. Some MMOs just give you the badge just for logging in. So it just depends on how this game's going to go. We don't know. I don't think I think he is going to have badges and rewards like that, but I think they're going to be physical items you can purchase when you go to those planets. So it's like you go to this planet and you land and you get the dog tag or the keychain from that planet. And then once you have it, you take it back to your hangar and you put it on your cabinet shelf or whatever, and it says that you've been to that planet, I think that's the way he's going to do badges, because he's already mentioned that it's physical. You have to actually go there and, get. But that's only location badges. So there's got to be other types of rewards other than just cash. I'm afraid that there's not going to be enough different items out there or tasks, and for me to okay, what am I trying to say? And I am specifically talking about character progression. There's not going to be enough character progression in this game to keep people coming back, because there's no levels. There's no experience that you're going to gain, so you can't make your character better that way. So there's no grinding for experience.
Nope.
The only thing that you're grinding for is money. And that's I don't know if money's a reward, by itself, because you're going to get a better ship, you're going to get better lasers, and that's the only thing that you're shooting for. That's just not enough things. And then I understand flying around to different planets and getting their little badge. Okay, that's cool. There's got to be more than that. There's got to be. I understand there's the exploration where you can find a planet, name it after yourself or whatever. That's still not enough. There's got to be more.
I think that what the gameplay, what I'm thinking that he's shooting for, is the ability to survive in the persisting universe as a character, because a lot of your ship wear and tear, that has to be paid for. Like you said, another when we was talking about the economy, passing through different systems and different checkpoints, that money has to be paid to do those things. And basically what the grinding will probably be is to stay alive and survive in the persisting universe when you have so many dangers and stuff like that around you, and having these housing areas where you can rent apartment space, your hangar. What if he was to say that, well, yeah, you have a hangar, but you're gonna have to pay to keep it, you know what I mean? Or an apartment, you're gonna have to pay to keep it. So what do? You got to get a job, you got to find some work. And so in order for you to keep the things that you have operational, your multiple ships, where you're going to have, is going to determine how much interaction you have out in the universe to keep all your stuff. You know what I mean? Keeping up your insurance. When the insurance policy run out after 6 months, you got to pay for that. So you have to be a citizen, a real citizen, because he did say he wants to have this somewhat like the real world. So in order for me to live in this apartment that I'm living in, I got to get a job because I have to pay the rent. I have insurance on my car, so I have to get a job to keep the insurance on my car. Otherwise, they're going to take it from me. So if they have police officers to say, hey, your insurance policy on your Constellation is up, we're going to have to confiscate it. You know what I mean? Repo man coming to take your Constellation. So that's where the grind is going to come in at, is being able to function as a citizen in the persisting universe.
I could see that, but I don't see them coming and taking, something that you've already. I mean, we've already backed the game. I mean, yeah, but I see what you're saying. You're going to have something to have that income to maintain your ships, and also pay for your insurance. So, you're gonna need those things to be able to maintain gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for one thing, if you backed for a ship, then you own the ship.
Right.
So
right.
they're not going to repossess that.
But I was just saying, like, what if scenario? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, but like if you go in and buy another ship and you put a loan on it and you don't pay that loan, they're going to repossess that.
Right.
or they're gonna put you on a blacklist or something, where you're not gonna get a chance to buy any more ships after that, or
right.
Or whenever you go to buy fuel, they say you can't because you still owe on your ship, right. Or something. And so
not because of insurance, because you don't have any insurance. That just means you don't have any insurance. So any damages you have on your ship, that's just on you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they will repo if you're still paying for a ship and you just stop paying on it or something.
Right.
But
I could see that as a side mission. Recover ship.
See,
but I want to stay back. I want to talk about role playing a little bit. When we're talking about our characters, I don't want money to be the only driving force for your motivation. It shouldn't be just money. And I understand that realistically, money is a big motivator for a lot of people, and I don't mind money being one of the many motivators in the game, but it can't be the only motivator. And right now, from everything I've heard, money is the big motivator. You got to have money for life insurance. You got to have money for ship insurance. You got to have money to land on a planet, and docking fees and fuel. And, money makes the universe go round, basically. And it does. And I understand that. And that's got to be a motivator. But there's got to be more. There has to be more. Like, I have to have a motivation for my character to become like this,
You're the colonel of the First Royal Aerospace.
Yeah, okay.
Sir, Commander.
Yeah, but I want to be general. No. But I want to have that medal that says, you defeated this one Vandal punk or whatever, Well, and you got to have those motivators in the game, and I think there will be. I think there's obviously going to be recognition for jobs well done.
That's one thing that we could suggest is, like, how it was when we were in the Army. Our brigade or battalion flags had the pennants on them, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there could be something like that. We do stuff for the UEE, and then they award our group a pennant to carry, in our group, so people can look over and say, well, they've done this campaign, and those are achievements that are individualized by each organization.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool for the org. But I'm talking about, what about you, Irish?
Well, I mean,
what about you? What are you going to get out of it?
The thing is that, and
don't give me that it was just fun to do.
I got to bring it up. So each individual, like, the organizations should have the rights to say, hey, I'm going to create this medal, and this medal from this organization that's awarded to this person that's a part of this organization is going to be recognized through the RSI. And it's like, hey, this guy's like a decorated officer with this group, that way it's recognized in the persistent universe. I think that would be cool.
Well, you do know that, speaking of our organization, we do have a bunch of medals.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm saying,
are they official from RSI? No.
That's what I would like to see, though. I would like to see it recognized through the persistent universe. Like, this guy's a decorated officer, so. I think that would be really cool, because that way you could sit there and say, well, this guy has a major renown. He's done these things, and and everything's going to have a reflection. Like, my character is going to be a part of this organization, and it's going to try to be the best role-playing character that I can be in that group, and you'd want to be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I see a lot of I'm just playing, but yeah, those are pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I really don't know. I really don't know what type of vision that I have of my character, because Squadron 42, gentlemen. Right?
Right. I'm with you so far.
We got to go through that.
Right.
And I think that that will allow us an opportunity to acquaint ourselves better with our avatar in this game, and that will determine a history, a predetermined, well, not predetermined, but allow us to create a history for our avatar when we transition over into the persistent universe. And that will determine what type of lifestyle this particular avatar will have, and once that happened, I think that's where I will be able to say, in the persistent universe, this is the direction that I want to go,
Well, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead, Irish.
I don't think that Squadron 42 is going to have much effect on the persistent universe in general, but I think it will give you more of a concept of how the UEE actually operates and give you more of a visual. But um, I see that aspect, but I don't see it actually pertaining to the persistent universe. But I do believe that it will give you a better scope of how the UEE operates and what's out there.
Right. That's
I
right.
think Squadron 42 is going to be pre-persistent universe. So like if persistent universe starts in 2446 or whatever it is, 2946, the Squadron 42 will probably be a year before that. So you play through Squadron 42, you get out, and now you're in the persistent universe. And so it's going to be like your characters, like what you did last year, or maybe even longer than that. So, the things that happen in Squadron 42 are not going to. It's already predetermined because they already know how Squadron 42 ends. So they've already written that story. Well, maybe they haven't, but the persistent universe will already know all that information. How you went about doing it might be unique to you, but the persistent universe says the Vandal were killed at this, battle, okay, or whatever, and they already know that because you were there and you helped do that. That's cool. You'll probably get a medal saying that you were a defender of the UEE from the Vandal or whatever. And who knows? That might not even have anything to do with Squadron 42.
Might not.
We might not be fighting Vandal in Squadron 42. That might just be there's so many other possibilities that I discussed this a few shows back, but I think what do you call it? I think there's a possibility they're misleading us, is what I'm saying. Like they think we're gonna be fighting Vandal, when in fact we might not be. So, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I want to be surprised, but the problem with that is I'm a backer, and I'm going to get to play Squadron 42 before it's released, and so it's going to be like it's kind of almost like a penalty because the first time I play it, it's going to be exciting, but that's still going to be full of bugs, and I'm never going to get to really play it without already knowing the story. Because once it's released, I'll have access to the actual version of it that's going to affect my avatar in the game, but by then I've already played all the missions.
There's a poster that sits behind Chris Robertson every 10 for the chairman.
Yep.
And it's one character in that poster that he has not mentioned yet in this game. And I'm pretty sure that those characters, that actual alien race will be a part of the game. Because he's incorporated everything else from his Wing Commander series. So I think though that the one race will be in the game.
You're talking about his Wing Commander poster?
Yeah, that lion. I forgot the name of the.
That's the Kilrathi.
Kilrathi. I think they will be in the game.
They can't be.
They annihilate them all.
No, first of all, it's a different universe, and second of all, he doesn't have the rights to do that. I don't believe. That would be whoever owned the game company that he was working for. That's why he can't. He can talk about Kilrathi because he was the designer and all that, but he can't use that as an asset in his game. I don't believe. And anyway, the Vandal are supposedly the new Kilrathi. They're his version of the Kilrathi in this game. But this is a different universe. This is different mechanics, different jump physics and all that. It's not Wing Commander. It's close though. A lot of things are close, but yeah. There's not going to be anything like a Kilrathi, except for the Vandal.
Yeah, it was EA. EA games.
Okay.
Yeah, that,
well,
took over the rights.
What you call it? The Tavaran might also be considered the Kilrathi because the Tavaran were hostile as soon as we met them, and then there was multiple wars between Earth and the Tavaran Empire or whatever it was, and now we've taken the surviving Tavarans and absorb them into the UEE culture. And by doing that, that's kind of similar to what we did at the final thing in Wing Commander, because we blew up the Wing Commander universe worlds or whatever, and then the surviving Kilrathi, we took them on into the, what do they call it, the Federation? No, the
yeah, I mean,
something.
but he hasn't talked about those races, and they got to be in there.
They can't
There's
be
no
in
way.
there.
Well,
They can't. They're not allowed to be. He doesn't own them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EA took over those rights. He sold the rights to them. He mentioned that in one of his YouTube videos, in one of his blogs.
Yeah, he's allowed to talk about it, but he can't use them in a game asset. No.
It's like music. I think if he paid enough money to him, he can get the rights to it.
Oh, I'm sure he could. Yeah, I'm sure he could get them back, but he doesn't want to rehash old stuff. He wants this game to be brand new. He wants this game to be all about the new, and then that way he doesn't have to spend anything.
See, he can continue the story, the original story, but all do different characters. I mean, it'd be the same thing.
But this is a different. This is a different storyline.
Yeah,
it's a totally different storyline. We don't have like the border worlds and the alliance and the rebels, and even though we might have all that, he hasn't really talked about any of that. So. Okay, well, that's the end of the show. The show has gone on for a little bit too long. It's about an hour and 20 minutes or so, and I want to cut this off. And so, did you have any final word or any final comments about role-playing in an MMO like Star Citizen and how that would impact the game? And well, we've already talked about it, but I mean, do you have any closing words?
Well, all I can say is I was thinking about what you were saying about the team speak aspect. That is true. Having team speak open when you're trying to play that role, that just kills it. And for anybody who's thinking about, playing a role and being the avatar, with the keyboard and mouse in your hand, the whole toss, or the Xbox 360 controller, what have you, it's better if you do it that way. Because your gameplay experience in Star Citizen would be that much more richer. You can be that Jean-Luc Picard, that Captain Kirk. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with it. I think that it will really enhance the gameplay substantially.
Oh, I agree. I just can't wait, because I have a feeling it's going to be as phenomenal as he sets it out to be. So I'm ready to role play and ready to have a great time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have backed as much money as I have if I didn't.
Exactly.
But for our unit, I think, and the TeamSpeak whole aspect, I think what we should do is, I haven't really brought this subject up till right now, but I think we should have a separate chat channel specifically for people that want to role play, and basically, if you're not role playing, get out of that channel, and if you are role playing, great. And then basically enforce different rules in that chat to allow, I'm talking about the voice chat in TeamSpeak, have them all role players, and that way, if you're not skilled or don't want to, or you just don't feel like it that night, don't jump in that chat. Go do some other chat. Do some competitive chat. I wanted to close by saying this: casual gamer. Okay, I hear this is the final words, and we'll close the video out. Casual gamer is a foul word, because I understand that people don't have a whole lot of time to play, and they play like 1 hour a week or whatever. And then there's those other guys that play probably 2 hours a week, and everybody thinks, okay, this is all I've got to dedicate to the game. But then there's those guys that are super hardcore that play like 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. Okay, that's also bad. But
you have no life.
You have no life. But I would prefer someone to be on more than once a week for 1 hour. And what's the definition of a casual gamer? Is it someone that doesn't really care about the game, or he's just logging in, playing a couple of missions, and then logging out. Is that a casual gamer? Then he's not really participating. He needs to, get into a group. And this is for everybody out there. You need to get into a unit, get into a group. You need to go on missions with your buddies. You need to have scheduled events that you attend. And by not doing that, you're really missing out on half of the game. Half the game is interaction with your buddies and taking out the bigger, harder opponents, the guys that you need to have buddies with. And if you're not doing that, then you're only playing half the game.
Yeah. Casual. There's multiple levels of gaming. You have the loner gamer who doesn't play multiplayer at all. He play all the story modes and never come online. Right. Then you have the casual gamer who plays every once in a blue moon, puts in a couple hours, and then he's done, or he or she is done. And then you have that hardcore gamer that puts in 24 hours straight with Red Bull and Monster.
Right.
But I think that on an individual standpoint, it has to be based on an individual's mood at that particular time. Some people, like even us, it's gonna be days where we can come in for an hour and just be like, you know what, fellas, I'm sorry, but I don't feel it today. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Does that make you a casual gamer? No. Even if you have a night where you didn't put in 8 hours straight, 10 hours straight that night because you felt like it, does that make you a hardcore gamer? No. You know what I mean? I think that it can vary. I don't think that a casual there are casual gamers, but I don't think that we can define that really.
No, I don't think we can define it. But what I'm just saying is, let me rephrase that. You can define it, but it's your own definition. It's what do you think a casual gamer is, and it might be different than what somebody else says it is.
Right.
Because you might say that someone that only plays once a week is a casual gamer, and I might say somebody that only plays once an hour a day is a casual gamer.
Right. Okay.
So and I'm saying that all that matters is what I think.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
No. All right, so we're going to leave it on that. And remember, guys, if you first time watching this video, you can check out our other 8 From the Verses previous to this on my channel, and come back next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central, and there'll be another one. Don't know what this topic is going to be yet. We'll figure that out later. Thanks for coming it out, and I appreciate both of you for stopping and helping me out with this RPG topic. Appreciate that, and I'll see you guys in the verse.
In the verse.
In the verse.